Happy Victory Monday, everybody. Hope everybody in Colts Nation is having a great day. As promised, we're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A. You know, you guys asking me stuff, give my opinion on stuff, or me telling you a little bit about myself. And we have a giveaway to do. The announcement for that will be at the tail end of this video. First, I want to get to the questions. And the first one here, I'm going to lump two of them together. It's from Dre H6672 and Vinny Reacts 5755. Okay, and starting here with Dre, he said, knowing your name or how to address you is helpful instead of just saying hey, which is a good point. Many of you may not know my name. My actual name is Jeff. You'll hear people call me Hefe if you're ever, around me in real life. At some point, I want to do, meetups in Indiana, for Colts games. But, I live in Florida. So at the moment, not going to be able to do that. But I'm hoping to be able to do that next season at some point. But, yeah, my name is Jeff. And people call me Jefe. I spell it Jeffe. The actual spelling is Jefe, boss in Spanish. And that nickname stuck. It's not a self-opposed nickname, though. I did not give that nickname to myself. That was given to me out of respect by other people. So I'm not going around having people call me Jefe all the time. That was a nickname that was given to me. But you guys can call me either Jeff, Jefe, however you prefer. And the other part of this is, how did you become a Colts fan and when? And I wanted to lump Vinny Reacts into this because that was his question, was how long have you been a Colts fan? And I don't have an actual age for you. I just know my my whole life. That's all I know is Colts football, right? I was born in '93, right? I'm 30 years old, so my whole life basically it's been Peyton Manning, right? He was it, and Colts football was amazing. Edwin James, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, all the boys. Bob Sanders, Gary Brackett, like those groups of players, like those teams. Growing up on that was amazing. I've always been a Colts fan. So established in 1993. So that would be my best guess as to what the actual answer for that is. But then the last part of this question here by Dre is, why did you decide to become a podcaster? And this one's actually really simple. A lot of people decided to become podcasters in 2020, right? When the COVID year hit, we weren't doing anything. And me, my uncle, and my cousin, we always, anytime we got together, we would always talk about football a bunch and, the love for the game. You guys have noticed, my love for the game, how passionate I am about this stuff. So when we would talk, like my uncle always would ask me also, like, what do you want to do in your life? And my answer for as long as I've known has always been like, I want to be like an ESPN analyst. I want to get paid to talk about football. That's the dream job. If I'm not going to be a GM in the NFL or coach in the NFL, like I want to get paid to talk about the NFL. But either way it goes, like I just wanted to do something that revolved around football, because I'm not a player anymore. So when it came down to it in 2020, we weren't doing anything. It was like mid-April. We decided, why not go ahead and make a football podcast? I was already helping my uncle do some stuff with his own YouTube channel and a completely different type of content. And having a little bit of that experience, we're like, hey, why not? We always talk about football anyways. Why not throw it into video form and try to make something of it? And so we've had another channel for a while that talked about the entire NFL instead of just the Colts. And with the way things have gotten since 2020, and the way everybody's lives are now, we took a break from that channel this year. We're hoping to get back to that at some point, but right now this is my focus. Building this community, especially with Colts Nation, the team that I grew up on, is this is what I'm most passionate about. It's family and football. That's life. So I absolutely love this team. I love the fact that I'm able to do something now, and I'm afforded an opportunity to be in a position where I can get to know people from Colts Nation. I can start building relationships with other people in Colts Nation. There are a lot of really good people that get into the comment section and they say really nice things. Like, you guys don't have to do that, but it's cool to hear your guys' feedback. And it's nice to get that kind of love. You know what I mean? I appreciate all the support that comes with it. But honestly, the only reason that I really got into the podcast thing is, again, because it's what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to talk about football. I've always wanted to get paid to talk about football. And I'm not making anything right now. YouTube. There are certain guidelines you have to make to be able to get paid from YouTube, and I haven't met those. We're just having fun right now. We're building this thing, and again, I'm not really so much worried about that as I am having fun doing something that I love, which I'm doing right now. So that's a pretty lengthy, long-winded answer to that, but that's a little look into how we've gotten to this point. You know what I mean? I took over this channel on July 24th. This is part of a bigger network. The person that runs the Lions Syndicate is the guy that's the head of this whole thing, and he's had a lot of great success, and he's helped me along the way getting started in this whole thing. We're a team now, and we're just trying to build, trying to get somebody for every team, and I'm just trying to do my part as part of the syndicate with Colts Nation, trying to keep rocking with everybody, trying to keep the content popping. Not everybody's going to like every video, and that's understandable. Some people are tired of me talking about going and getting wide receivers, but I really would like to do a video on going to get Scary Terry. I'm not going to lie. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next question here. And brother, I'm not gonna lie, I do not know how to say this name. Gonna take a wild crack at it. Kak per Wiz Zawadi 847. All right, with a good question here. Where did you play high school, college ball? So I grew up in Indiana, spent the first 22 years of my life in Indiana, and I grew up playing football actually in Speedway, but then eventually ended up playing in Brownsburg. And actually, my last season playing football was my freshman year of high school. Looking back on it, there are a number of things that probably played into me not playing anymore after that point, but the big one was concussions. I got, it was after my freshman season. The week after, the freshmen were practicing with the varsity because they were going to pick 10 freshman players to dress for them for the first sectional game. So we were practicing with them, and I was in on the defense going against the varsity offense, and the running back, we had a tank at running back, and me and him went head to head, got another concussion. When I was growing up, concussions weren't really a thing. Like, I played in that era of football. Like, you get your bell rung, you just get up, shake it off, keep playing, right? But looking back on it, I know as a kid, there are multiple instances that I can point to. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the day I had one. That was the day I had one. And then the one that I got when I was a freshman is the one that had the biggest impact on me right away. And it's the one that had the lasting impact. Ever since that day changed my entire life. I deal with migraine headaches, getting fairly often, and you know, I'm not 100% positive that it's the concussions. It could be something else in my genetic makeup, but I never really had to deal with it until that point. So concussions are why I stopped playing football, but I did play at Brownsburg High School my freshman year, grew up playing in Speedway. And after that freshman year, that's when my focus really shifted from trying to go to the next level to play football to, okay, let's get paid to talk about football. That's the next best thing. All right, so now that we've gotten some of the personal stuff out of the way, you guys gotten to know a little bit about me personally. Let's get into some of these football questions that are here. And the first one, we're going to look at Tyson Solomon, 6674. What's up, brother? In the comments all the time. Appreciate you stopping by and asking a question. He asks, what do you think is going on with Shaq? You think he will ever be a top tier linebacker again? How about Freeland? I didn't think he did that bad his first game. Go Colts. So first, let's address Blake Freeland, because that's the easy one. Blake Freeland, all things considered, not the greatest first game, but he went up against Aaron Donald. So, like, what can you expect? But the second game, the offensive line gave up no sacks. He did just fine, in my opinion. There were a couple times Gardner got pressured, but I only think there was really one time I saw somebody get pressure from Blake Freeland's side. I think it was more people coming off the edge on Braden Smith's side anytime the Titans were getting pressure. So I thought Blake Freeland overall has done fine. And with Shaq, I just think when you're talking about like the stuff that was wrong with him, right? He had to have surgery in his back to get a nerve issue dealt with that was happening in his leg. Okay, so the complexity, I'm not going to sit here and act like a doctor. I'm not. And I don't know the complexities of this, but the basic human anatomy that I know is that the brain controls everything, right? So when you're talking about those nerves and you're talking about the spine, right, and nerves that go from the spine down into the leg, like there's a lot of space in between there, right? Signals bouncing back and forth. I think it's going to take some time for what's called neuroplasticity to start setting in, for him to start remembering how to do the things that he was able to do before, right? That muscle memory will come back. Like muscle memory is real and it will come back. He just needs the reps. This is why the groin injury right now kind of throws a wrench into things, because the plan was for him to be full go by November. But right now, they're trying to take their time. And I think what they're doing with Shaq, the approach with Shaq, probably has a lot to do with not only his injury and how long it's lingered on, but also the Jonathan Taylor thing and how, the report came out about how Jonathan Taylor felt like he was pushed to come back sooner than he wanted to. And maybe there's some thought that that happened with Shaq last year also. He was clearly not ready to come back when he did, and then he gets re injured. So I think it's just going to take some time. Yes, I do think he can be a top tier linebacker again. I might be overzealous. I'm not going to lie. There might be some bias there. I, I honestly didn't realize until watching the game against the Titans when a graphic popped up that had Shaquille Leonard's name and age on it, said he was 28 years old already. I did not know that, man. So getting closer to 30 as these NFL players, especially running backs and linebackers, as they get closer to 30, we'll see. But he was an elite football player. Elite football players can generally last a little bit longer. So really hoping he can bounce back. I've said multiple times on this channel that he's my favorite current Colts player. So I really hope that he's able to bounce back in a big way. I hope we get the maniac back to full strength at some point, especially with EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin. Like having those three on the field together playing the way they can all play when they're all being great, dude, easily the best linebacker group in the league. All right, now we have a question here from Mr. Charles Johnson, and he's asking, how do you feel about the team not addressing needs at O-line, cornerback, and a difference maker at wide receiver? Do you agree with the approach the GM is taking? And we're going to wait for the difference maker at wide receiver for the next question. Those first couple questions, addressing the needs at O-line in terms of depth, I think so far we've shown that with good coaching and a good scheme that works to put guys in a successful position, this offensive line is turning into one of the best in the NFL in terms of pass blocking and run blocking. And they're able to do that with backups in. So at the current moment, the way they're building the offensive line, keep going, right? I have faith that Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are going to be able to get this done. Chris Ballard so far building this team and his image from what he has to work with, and it looks pretty good so far. So right now, I'm going to say I trust whatever they're doing is working. Them not addressing it and going and spending more money or giving away draft capital for offensive linemen right now seems like it was a smart move. And then cornerback, I actually liked the fact that they went in the draft and got 3 corners. I don't like the fact that Darius Rush no longer on this team in any capacity. I thought there was a lot of potential there. And I'd like to see if at some point he ends up on the practice squad again. We'll have to see what happens there. But what we have in Julius Brents, he looks like he's going to be a star. Okay, it hasn't been perfect, but he's played really well through the first 3 games of his career. So Juju, not worried about Juju Brents one bit. Jalen Jones, I think he has the potential to be really good, a really late round pick. I think he was a 7th round pick, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he can be really good. He has the athleticism, has the length. He's the ideal build for Chris Ballard. And he's one of those guys. He impressed a lot of people in training camp. He looked good in the preseason. He was really good on special teams. So I think Jalen Jones, Juju Brents, Kenny Moore, as long as we can stay healthy from where we are, we're in a good spot. Not having Dallas Flowers anymore is a bit of a problem. He was playing really well. But right now, the way it sits, I think we're okay. The depth right now is going to be the issue. We start getting injuries in the secondary, it might be an issue. But until that happens, we're going to be acting like the secondary is good because I think going forward, it will be pretty good week to week. Okay, now the wide receiver conversation. We're going to move here to Golden Wax, one of the OGs of the channel. He asks, what's your take on Michael Pittman? Call your shot. Is he a true number one receiver, or do the Colts need to make a move for Devontae Adams? Maybe even a young receiver like how Diggs found Buffalo or Eagles got A.J. Brown. And honestly, I'd like the Colts to go make a move. I think we're going to win too many games to go get Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you'd have to give up so much draft capital to go get Marvin Harrison Jr. I think if you can go get a guy like Scary Terry or a guy like Devontae Adams, and you don't have to give up as much draft capital, you can still draft, second round receiver next year or third round receiver next year. We got Josh Downs in the third round. So, in my opinion, yes, you go get a guy that you know can do it. Marvin Harrison Jr. probably going to be a star in the NFL. We can all we know that. We know that. Okay. We understand that. In my opinion, I would just rather have a guy that's proven it. And I don't think that's crazy. Now, luckily, we did draft Josh Downs. He's going to be a difference maker. Michael Pittman Jr. probably going to get paid at some point. Now that Jonathan Taylor's been paid, Michael Pittman Jr. and Kenny Moore probably the next two up, and that's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. All right, so that was a really good question. The last question here comes from my cousin, Ian Byers. He asks, if I have any blue stuff like the Colts mascot. No, I don't have any blue stuff. I never really even thought to get blue stuff until I saw that comment. Then I was like, am I really even a Colts fan if I don't have any blue stuff? So no, I don't have any blue stuff. I need to get some blue stuff. And thank you for asking. I appreciate all you guys for asking questions. Don't be afraid to continue to comment down below if you have any more questions for me, whether it's about the team or about me. There's some things I'll keep private into myself, but don't be afraid to ask me anything. All right, so to finish this up, as promised, the giveaway winner. I want you guys to know I put all the names into a wheel, into multiple different wheels. There was a lot of you in the comments, and different wheels, spun all the different wheels a certain amount of times, got the names trickled down, got you a certain amount of you down into one, and I spun the wheel, and I kid you not, I spun it 3 times. And I was going to take 3 names and then spin it once, and that would be the winner. I spun it 3 times, and the same name came up. Okay, this was destiny. I don't know why the universe wanted this to happen, but my man, Observer Goldstein 3709, congratulations, brother. You have won a Colts jersey of your choice. All right, now I need to see you in the comment section within 48 hours of the release of this video so that we can kind of get in contact and figure out how I'm going to get this jersey to you. But again, congratulations, Observer Goldstein, and thank you to not only Observer, but to everybody that participated in the Q&A or the giveaway, everybody that comes by to support the channel. Like, I feel corny saying it, and I say it all the time, but I want you guys to know I really do appreciate having your guys' support. It means a lot to me, and I'm having a lot of fun doing what I'm doing and being able to sit up here and chat with you guys. Not all my takes are good, but you guys still come by and you still rock with me, and I appreciate you. And if you're not already subscribed, please, we're almost to 900 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button. Join the community, baby. All right, thank you all for coming by. I'll have an update on Anthony Richardson for you guys as soon as I possibly can. Of course, got to do my day job, but I will be back for you guys as soon as possible. I promise you that. All right, so with that said, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.